All right, what is going on, guys? So Apple has officially concluded their September event where they announced the new iPhone 14, the new Apple Series 8, and the new AirPod Pros 2. And this is just going to be a video giving you guys my reaction, my first impressions on the announcement. And you guys really enjoyed the live format for when I revealed the new American Express card. So I'm going to do something very similar for the iPhone or the Apple event, because doing it in this live format with no editing, no cuts, just gives you guys more of my raw feelings on the overall product. And you guys can also see me stumble across things. Now, I'm not going to follow the event for how it was announced, because they started off with the Apple Watch and they spent a lot of time on it. I don't care about it too much. I want to start off on the product that I care about the most, and that would be the AirPod Pros 2, or whatever they're calling it, the second generation. So right off the bat, you can see on the outside, it looks very similar to the existing AirPod Pros, which is nice for people who have the first generation, because you can kind of skirt and pretend that you have the second ones, but that's besides the point. As you can see here on this bottom tagline, they bring major updates to transparency mode, spatial audio, and the convenience features. I don't know where they were going with that, but the active noise canceling is able to cancel up to double of what it was before. But regardless, let's go ahead and look at the design. So like I said before, it is very reminiscent of the previous generation. I don't have any complaints on it, but if you were to look in the actual inside of the device, you can see that the H2 chip is this new processor that we have for interacting with the iPhone and other Bluetooth capabilities as well. And it also helps in terms of the transparency and the active noise canceling detection as well. As you can see here, this is how it's able to, I don't know, when it's playing music and it has, the bass thumping in your eardrums making you go deaf, it's able to do that for you with the help of the H2 chip. So it's nice to see that we have this in here. I know this is going to be a very big thing for most people who cannot get the AirPod Pros into their ear. They have an extra small tip that now comes in the box. Hopefully it's not something that they have to purchase separately, but extra small is really nice for people who want to get the AirPod Pros in their ear if these three didn't fit before. I've always told people AirPod Pros, if you have an iPhone, are one of the best earbuds on the market, bar none. So nice to see that we have this extra small option here. The other thing that they talked about was this whole personalized spatial audio section, or not section, but feature. And I believe what they do is it's using your iPhone and your eardrums with the AirPod Pros in order to give you the best optimal sound for spatial audio. So it's definitely personalized for your ears. So it's nice. I definitely don't use spatial audio that much, especially when it comes to watching TV shows and movies and stuff like that. I don't use my iPhone, but when it comes to listening for music, I definitely use spatial audio. So it would be nice to see how it's going to sound different from my ear to someone else's with my own personalized spatial audio. But enough about spatial audio. Let's go into another major feature they improved with the AirPod Pros 2, which is something that I think is worth the upgrade in itself. So, like I said before, very reminiscent of the previous design, but now we have touch controls on the side on that stem part. So instead of pulling out your phone in order to change the volume and turn it up and down, you can just swipe up and down on the side, and that will able to change the volume on the fly, which is amazing. Whether this does more capabilities other than volume control, that'd be great. But it's nice that we have this. We have quote unquote extended battery life. So we have, I believe, 6 hours of listening time using the AirPod Pros, and then we have 30 hours of listening time with the case included. So moving on to the next thing, this is a very interesting thing that I am happy with, but also very disappointed with at the same time. So we have this all new charging case. But let me just talk about this photo or this video here. So we have this lanyard section here, so you can just loop through some ropes or string in order to have it be attached to you all the time. We have speakers on the AirPod Pro's case itself, so if you were to lose it and you wanted to use Find My in your app, you can just click it and it'll play some sound, so it'll be easier to detect on where it is. And then you can also use your Apple Watch charger to charge it wirelessly, which is fantastic. I don't know why this wasn't a thing before, but the most disappointing thing that I see on this product is the Lightning port once again. I don't know how or why Apple decided to go with this choice. Whoever decided to do this, you're definitely money hungry. That's the only thing I can really say. I don't know how USB-C isn't a better alternative than the Lightning port. And, with a product like this, I think it's going to be here for, probably the next 3 to 5 years. So that kind of sucks that we have to carry this Lightning cable around once again. But I don't want to get harped on the Lightning port too much. Just would have been nice to see that we have USB-C. That's all I can really say. Definitely made me disappointed on the overall product. But as you can see here, little lanyard on the side if you want to carry it around. Memojis, engraving, you can have all that stuff for the AirPod Pros. Starts at $249, same price. It is steep, but as a person who bought them at launch in October 2019, I think the price is worth it. It is the best earbuds that an iPhone person can use, period. Anyway, 2030 carbon neutral, all that jazz to keep you guys incentive for why you should buy their products. Next up, let's talk about the second best announcement in my opinion. And that would be the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus. Surprisingly, not the Pro models. So first and foremost, I think this new color that they have, it's like a very light baby sky blue. It looks beautiful. But I do have some complaints about the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus. So here is the lineup this year of the colors. We have Midnight, don't know this name, Starlight, don't know this name, and Product Red. This is like a very light lavender purple color. But it is pretty much the iPhone 13 with better camera, slightly better processor, bigger battery, and I believe a better display. I mean, what else is there? But like I said, I'm going to scroll through this pretty quick because, like I said in my impression video or my preview video, it's business as usual for smartphones nowadays. Just upgrade the processor and camera, and that's pretty much it. So we have a powerful, according to Apple's marketing, powerful camera upgrade, sure, by this photonic engine. I believe that's how they pronounced it. Kind of reminds me of Photon. But regardless, we have this new 12 megapixel main camera, a new true depth camera on the front, and the best thing about that is that autofocus works with the front-facing camera, which I think is fantastic. So for people who want to utilize portrait mode a little bit better, or you want to take selfies and not have the background be in focus as well with the regular camera, this is a great addition. I think this is a huge upgrade. So this is just some, oh my God, look at the hair strands in this photo. Anyway, these are just some finely picked photos by Apple, as you can see. And I mean, this is fantastic. Fantastic. Better low light performance as well. That is a fat sunflower. But regardless, these are the main upgrades. So we have a new main camera, true depth camera, a new action mode. So the action mode is basically just very optimized stabilization for videos. So if you're following a person while running, it's not going to have a whole bunch of bouncing. It's going to be very smooth and yeah. Improved True Tone Flash cinematic mode can now record at 4K 30, but do keep in mind it is very heavy on your camera and your processor. But yeah, this is the action mode that they were talking about before. So I do think they were being a little bit dramatic, but at the same time, they're just showing the improvements of having action mode on. So, I guess this person is doing hopefully the same gestures on action mode, and it's providing this smooth quality. Another thing that they talked about, which is going to be something that you're going to see throughout this entire event on this far out event is their crash detection and emergency SOS via satellite. So if you are to unfortunately get into a car crash, the iPhone will detect that you were in a car crash, send out information to your emergency contacts, and as well alert local emergency personnel within, I think, 10 seconds, I believe. And this is only enabled while you are driving. And then the emergency SOS via satellite, hypothetically speaking, if you were in an area with no cellular service, so you can't connect to cell towers, and you were stranded or lost, you can just hold your phone up to the sky, and then Apple will let you know where a satellite is, and you can send a message out to, you can send a message out to, I believe, a few contacts, emergency contacts, as well as emergency personnel as well. So it's nice. So this is an example of the crash detection on the iPhone 14. And then this is what I was talking about for trying to contact some emergency via the satellite because it's far out. But yeah, that's it. Mayuri. I said this during the event. You guys don't know this, but come on. Y'all really think I wasn't going to notice this? I mean, come on. Come on. Anyway, let's focus. We can talk about Bleach later. Let's keep on scrolling, see what else they offered. So A15 Bionic, this is a very interesting choice that the new base level iPhones don't have the next generation processor. So this just has the A15 Bionic with some more GPU cores, which is great. I mean, the chips are already best in class by 3 years compared to their competitors, according to Apple. We have better capabilities with connectivity, and then Apple Fitness Plus for all iPhone users. And then I think a lot of the benefits that people are going to get regardless of the iPhone 14 is going to be through iOS 16. And I think a lot of people are going to love iOS 16. I mean, it's beautiful. Anyway, let's continue to the iPhone 14 Pro. So, okay, maybe I should have did the iPhone 14 Pro, but man, this phone is looking good. So as you guys can tell, this part right here, the notch has been shrunken down, and they now call it the dynamic island. And I'll get into this in a second, but this is the coolest thing on the iPhone 14 Pro. I don't care about the megapixel, I don't care about the cameras, I don't care about the always on display. This thing right here was the coolest thing in the entire event. So iPhone 14, we have the dynamic island, and this is essentially just a area where things change depending on what you're doing on the phone and what apps you're using. Obviously, this is going to be a pain for developers to try and implement. Maybe it's really easy. I don't know what the SDK is looking like, but regardless, as you can see here, instead of having that generic pop-up of how much battery you have or going to a widget of your battery, your AirPod Pros, whenever you connect them, boom, the dynamic island just shows it there at the top. Next thing, if you get an incoming call, get this little notification up here, you answer it, it goes back down, stuff like that. And this entire region up here is dynamic for what goes on. I mean, it's beautiful. I love this thing, this little small little pill. Regardless, we now have always on display, and they also get much brighter than before. It has 2000 nits. If that doesn't mean anything to you, it doesn't mean anything to me either. All I know is that it gets really bright. We can go all the way down to 1 hertz, thanks to the new chip inside the iPhone. I think it's like the display engine, but this is an example of always on display. I know Android users are like, we've had this for like 5 years. Well, this is for iPhone users who probably have never even heard of always on display. But as you can see here, this is when your display is on, always on. When it's a little bit dimmer, you can see that it's locked, things like that. So the iPhone 14 Pro comes in some new colors. We have the graphite silver, which is my favorite color, and then the gold, and then this new dark purple-esque color. Deep purple is what they call it. They call it space black. It's not even graphite anymore. Cool. Anyway, dynamic island. I've said this plenty of times, but I mean, this is just the coolest thing to come to the iPhone 14 Pro. I'm not going to bore you with the cameras. There are plenty of tech channels who will talk to you blue in the face about the cameras, I'm not that big on cameras when it comes to smartphones. You know, I've been saying this since day one. Ever since the iPhone like 6 and the 7, cameras have been phenomenal. The fact that companies spend so much time explaining stuff on cameras just makes it seem like there's not real much innovation moving forward. But as you can see, these are example shots of the iPhone 14 Pro. We have this new 48 megapixel camera, or I should say lens in the proper sense. And you know, we're able to just capture breathtaking photos like the one you see here. There's just more detail, definitely improves in low light performance. As well with the 48 megapixel, when you decide to zoom into stuff, you're able to retain a lot of detail as well. So just giving a little bit more detail of what is in store for the camera, we have 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, improved telephoto camera, which now offers 2x and 3x zoom, true depth camera, which is on the iPhone 14, a new adaptive true tone flash, which is on the iPhone 14, photography benefits, new action mode, cinematic mode, pro level workflow, all that good stuff. So looks very similar to the iPhone 14. Crash thing, we've already talked about that before. Emergency stuff. A16 Bionic chip, now it's reserved for the Pro model. Blah, 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 blah. And then once again, you're getting stuff with iOS 16. So what I'm gonna say about the iPhones is this. I'm very happy that the iPhone 14 Plus is a thing because I don't know who at Apple thought the Mini was a good idea. I thought it was a terrible idea. You know, it's great that people want a smaller phone, but I just think we've just been so accustomed to bigger phones nowadays that it just makes sense to have a plus size phone and a regular size phone. The Mini just didn't really make sense to me. It's great in terms of a technical marvel to be able to pack that much features and hardware into a device that small. But in the grand scheme of things, I just don't think the battery life hit is worth it. The Plus is great because I think this is something that should have always been a thing. The Max models, okay, here's what I'm going to say, right? There are people who want a big iPhone, but they don't want to fork over money for a Pro Max because you're basically entering a territory of like a 300 or 200 to 400 different price delta in order to get a bigger iPhone when you don't really care about the Pro features. You just want a bigger phone with a bigger battery so it can last you longer and you can just look at things a lot easier. So it's nice that the Plus model is finally here and it's only, I think, $100 extra. I'm not a plus size person. The plus size phones just make it more cumbersome to live with day in day. Like my pockets could definitely fit it, but it's just too big for me. Anyway, so that is the iPhone 14 and 14 Pro. Now let's get into a bit of a snooze fest. That would be the iPhone or the Apple Watch Series 8. Or not the Apple Watch Series 8, just the Apple Watch in general. But regardless, the Apple Watch Series 8 has been announced. Probably the biggest feature that they talked about was the new temperature sensor and the tracking that it does for women's health. Apparently there's been a lot of studies for while you're sleeping, that is probably the best way to detect, I guess, the cycle of women for their temperature. So it's nice that they have that, although this is a pretty pricey watch in order to do some cycle tracking. But listen, if this is what women want, by all means. But you can use this for, you know, whatever you want for the temperature sensing. We still have crash detection as well. Also, the reason why I'm skimming over this is because I can't really speak about this too much because I don't know this enough. You know, I don't experience this stuff. So if you are a woman in the comment and you think this is amazing, please leave a paragraph or an essay of why this is probably the most fantastic thing to come next to sliced bread. Anyway, we still have the crash detection, which is capable on the watch as well. And we have this new low power mode because other than that, nothing else is really on the Apple Watch Series 8. The biggest thing, if anyone is trying to sell you on the Apple Watch Series 8, just know this: temperature sensor, temperature sensor, temperature sensor. That's it. They talked about this low power mode, but there's this thing called power reserve on the iPhone or the Apple Watch already, but you know, apparently it gives you 36 hours of battery life. We still don't have multiple day. I mean, technically this is multiple day, but 3-day minimum would be great to see on the Apple Watch without any type of low power mode. It's probably asking a lot from Apple, but we have all these other features in terms of international roaming, AFib history, compass app, workout app, sleep tracking. Most of the stuff you'll see is mainly coming from watchOS 9. Yeah, so don't feel like you're being left out with this stuff here. So moving forward, I was really happy to see that, oh, we're still talking about the iPhone or the Apple Watch Series 8. So we have new watch faces, as well as just different menus that we can see. So this is the workout. So happy that Apple has brought this over into watchOS 9. But you basically see the different zones of your heart rate for how hard you're working, sleep tracking as well. And then, you know, if you have some type of medication, you need some reminder, you can log it in your Apple Watch as well. This band color is looking nice, looking classy. But, you know, we have new bands, new colors, pretty much in line for what Apple has for the future. Moving forward, new Nike bands as well. New Hermes bands as well, and new watch faces. So have fun with that if you're a luxury person. Apple Watch SE has now gotten a improvement. So it's essentially just a processor improvement. I don't believe there is a temperature sensor on here, which is kind of a bummer. It would be nice to, you know, give this to family members who would benefit of having that temperature sensor, but, you know, maybe it will trickle down in, like, I don't know, 3-4 years. So if you want to have the temperature sensor, you have to get the Apple Watch Series 8. If I'm wrong, I will have some type of disclaimer somewhere, but I'm pretty sure that this is being reserved for the Apple Watch Series 8. But regardless, SE is getting an improvement of the newer chip. That's pretty much it, right? Now we have an announcement that I wasn't expecting, and that is the Apple Watch Ultra, which kind of made me go to sleep a little bit, but really cool nonetheless. This is definitely for people who they're go-getters in life. They're the people that are like skydiving every weekend just because. But it is a big watch. It is a fat watch. It is bigger, brighter, stronger, made with aerospace grade titanium. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you with all the smaller details here, but just know that this is a watch that it's different. It's different. They definitely had a lot of outdoor activities in mind and emergency conscious focused designs as well. Maybe they're going to talk about it later in the article. If not, I'll try and touch on it as well. But they have special bands as well. And if you are a person who does a lot of outdoor activities, you can see that these bands are made with the intention of, you know, things that you would need in an emergency or for utility. Once again, this is endurance and sport athletes focused watch. I was happy that I got the pricing right in my prediction in $799. Pricey, but I think people who are doing activity like this, it's probably going to be worth it to them, because it doubles as their watch and their activity utility tool as well. They have a special wayfinder watch face as well. So, you know, there's just a lot of information on here. If you think this is overwhelming, this watch is probably not for you because it's overwhelming for me. But once again, we have the watch zones, or the fitness zones for, you know, things that we can see. That's pretty much universal for watchOS 9. Once again, explores, you know, this watch is just crazy, 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 crazy. The one thing I want to show is like the nighttime version. Yeah, this is the coolest thing that they could have shown. When you turn the crown, this watch just goes like dark and red. It looks so cool. So cool. Ocean and water enthusiasts. So apparently it is WR100 certified. So there's this 400-meter thing, and there's the new Oceanic Plus app. So I hope that's not some type of subscription, but I guess people who are doing this are willing to pay for it. Kind of sucks, in my opinion. Should be built into the watch since it's $800. But twice the water resistance as the Apple Watch Series 8. So if you are a diver, you know, I don't really know what the stuff means, but it's probably beneficial to you. I guess it can tell you how deep you are submerged. You know, once again, the Wayfinder app. This is talking about like scuba air. You know, I'm not gonna pretend that I know what I'm talking about because I've never gone scuba diving. But in essence, this watch is a fat $799. Holy moly, that's a lot of money. I believe the Apple Watches you can start buying today at the recording of this video, and you will get it in a couple of weeks, if not a month. But the iPhones, I don't believe you can order till Friday and you get them the following weekend. And then the Plus model, for some reason, is coming out in October, which kind of sucks. So I think that's the good phone for what a lot of people want from an iPhone. Anyway, guys, that is my thoughts, my first impressions, a quick recap on the event. Try to make it as digestible as possible by going to the actual source itself. But let me know what you guys thought of the event. I will have my complete reaction video up in a couple hours, if not. But if you guys would rather have me do segmented content where, you know, I just talk about the iPhone a little bit more in detail, I talk about the AirPods Pros in a little bit more detail, I talk about the Apple Watch a little bit more in detail, or if you just want a video like this where everything is kind of bundled into one, let me know. But regardless, I appreciate every single sub, like, and comment. And as always, guys, much love. I did that in one take. You know what that means? Since I did it in one take, I don't gotta edit a lot. I just gotta edit the beginning and end. Call it a day. Bada bing, bada boom. That's all.